Alrighty, this is a demonstration of the mod for the ASG Dan Wesson revolver in 177 BB. And it's not so much a mod as it is a restoration to the original factory condition. There's no going to be any cutting or filing required. If you need to, you can restore the gun to pre-mod condition in about 2 minutes. If you check the last page of your user manual for this gun, you'll see a parts schematic. There it is there. Now I've taken and blown this up to show the relevant parts, what's missing and what's not. Part number 1 is a machine screw. Part number 2 is a small nut that fits into a slot. This is the handle, actually, or grip of the gun. Part number 3 is a small metal frame that tensions the spring. The nut and machine screw are missing in the Canadian gun. They would ordinarily pressurize the hammer spring, increasing or decreasing the amount of tension on the hammer spring, and that in turn will increase or decrease the feet per second of your BB gun. At least that's the theory. Keep in mind that any air gun capable of over 500 feet per second in Canada must be registered. And by restoring the hammer tensioner, you can get as close to 500 feet per second as possible without actually running over. Or if you've got your restricted license, you can run the thing up to max and then go ahead and have it registered. Now for the actual modification, what you'll need is a number 2 Phillips, a suitable nut and machine bolt. I went to Canadian Tire and I got number 4s by 40 by half an inch. Originally I just fished around in my nut and bolt jar and I found something that came close to fitting and filed the nut down so that it would fit in the slot precisely. It's actually a better fit than the purchased nut and bolt, but for $1.59, why not? You might need a knife to help you pry this off. So to begin, you just pull the grips back and push, spread them slightly, pull them right off. Now this keeper here, you pry that up with your fingernail. Do the same thing on the other side, and it just pulls right off. Now you can see here, this is the slot where the nut would fit in, and the bolt sticks out here, and the side of the frame covers that. So you're going to have to remove the side of the frame. There's 4 screws. Get that done. Very, very easy. They come out without any problem. They're torqued down fairly lightly, so it's not a big deal to get them going. There's one. This one here doesn't Now you have to pry this up. The tricky part is right in here. If you can get a knife blade between the sight and the frame, and come down here where the hammer is, gently, even pressure all the way around. You don't want to bend this. Pull this out. At this point, absolutely do not turn the gun over, don't drop it, and do not open the cylinder. I made the mistake of doing that the first time around, and I ended up with the cylinder and the crane in pieces in my lap. It was a pain getting it back together. But this is where we're at now. All you have to do is just take and drop That's a very, very loose fit. It will work, but to tell you the truth, I prefer my handmade little hack job. There we go. Okay, and you can see now where that's a slot, by the way, so I'll need a slot screwdriver. You can see where the hammer strut goes down into that box. That box tensions the spring. It is possible to adjust the box up too high. That will bind the spring and you won't be able to cock the gun. So you have to be careful of that. And before you do anything further, you get this plate back in place before you end up with springs and sprongs and everything else flying all over the place. Be careful that, okay, the piercing screw for the CO2 doesn't pop out and get lost. Then you just run your screws back in. Alrighty. Okay. You don't have to torque the screws down too very tight, because there's not an awful lot of pressure that they're under. There's not a lot of vibration. It's not like an actual firearm where you've got a tremendous amount of strain on all parts. Just light torque down and they'll be fine. Now, to do your adjusting, if you've got a chronometer, you can take it out, adjust it like this, put in a CO2 cartridge, load her up, and go out and check it out with a chronometer, and moving this up a little bit each time. You want to do it without the grips on, because that's the only way that you can actually get at the there we go. That's the only way that you can get at the screw. And once you've got it set at the velocity that you want, well, at that point, at that point you can put the grips on and leave it. My gun's already very, very powerful, but I mean, who's going to turn down an extra couple of feet per second for free? There we go. Okay, that's too high. That's binding. Turn that down. There's not, I would say, yep, about 1/4 of an inch is the maximum amount of adjustment this thing allows. Okay, so there's that, and there's that, and happy shooting. Thank you.